Recently, I was on ABC radio talking about road and street names in Victoria, and one of the topics that came up was those that had been renamed. Now, this can occur for any number of reasons, and there are a lot of examples to go through. But today, I want to talk about one of them that I think is very interesting. This was during the First World War, when Melbourne and Victoria, together with much of the British Empire, went through a frenzy of renaming streets, suburbs, and even entire towns to replace anything that looked or sounded German. The First World War started in 1914, with Germany and Austria-Hungary the principal adversaries of the British and the Allies. This caused huge anti-German sentiment throughout the Allied world, including in Australia. There was a rush to identify and change the name of anything that was associated with or just sounded German in any way. Everything was fair game, from dogs to biscuits. Even the name of the British royal family was changed from the House of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha to the House of Windsor. In Australia, some of the first cabs off the rank were the most obvious. Germantown was a fairly common name for towns and villages, as German migrants had settled in various places around the world. For example, the town of Germantown became Holbrook in September 1915, the Townsville suburb of German Gardens became Belgian Gardens in January 1915, and the then hamlet of Germantown near Geelong in Victoria became Grovedale in March 1916. South Australia was especially affected. Because there had been a large amount of migration, there were many places with Germanic names. Following a place name commission set up in 1916, the South Australian Nomenclature Act of 1917 was passed, which authorised changes to 69 places across the state, all of them German, to mostly local Indigenous names. Some of these were reverted in later years, such as Harndorf, Klemzig and German Creek, while many remain with their new names to this day. This extended even to food. The famous Berliner donut from South Australia was officially renamed to a Kitchener after Lord Kitchener, the British Secretary of State for War. In Melbourne, the changes were mostly limited to streets and roads. The area around Doncaster and Templestowe was known for its relatively high numbers of Germans, and hence had several German names. Many of these people were also under suspicion at the time for being spies throughout the war. With this background, in 1916, the Doncaster Shire Council received a petition from 23 residents requesting that 3 roads be renamed. After some debate, the changes made were from Bismarck Road to Victoria Road, Wilhelm Road to King Street, and Waldo Road to George Street. But this wasn't just limited to Doncaster. Bismarck Avenue in Surrey Hills was renamed to Warwick Avenue, West Prussia Road in Wantirna to Wantirna Road, and Weinberg Road in Hawthorne to Wattle Road. Heidelberg Shire Council initially voted to change the name of the entire suburb in September 1914, but this was met with strong opposition and did not proceed. In fact, during the Second World War the same thing happened, when some residents unsuccessfully petitioned the council to rename Heidelberg to Warringal. There were many other places though that were spared. Melbourne still has many places and streets named for German things, like the suburbs of Altona and Brunswick. Elsewhere in Victoria, places like Germantown and Freeburg near Bright, where I actually have family who've lived there for many years, had been named for German gold prospectors, but managed to escape being renamed. It's worth noting here that there was also opposition to these anti-German changes. Richmond Council, for example, initially refused to alter the names of local streets. This was despite a group of residents tearing down the street signs for Berlin Street and renaming it temporarily to Barclay Street, with its old name, quote, cancelled. Councillor Gordon Webber, also a Member of Parliament and later a veteran of the Great War, said that he regarded the whole thing to be, quote, very childish. Other councillors called it ridiculous and almost pathetic, and that the names should only be changed if a large majority of the street's resident requested this. They argued that, taken to its logical conclusion, the entire state of Victoria should be renamed, given that Queen Victoria herself was half German. Councillors in other places, including Hawthorne and Footscray, expressed similar views, saying that the whole thing was just a distraction from far more effective ways of fighting the enemy, and that changing the names would do nothing except cause confusion and inconvenience to people. In the end, the residents of these Richmond streets ended up getting their way. Richmond Council eventually sent out a letter asking for their views, and a large majority of them favoured removing the German name. And so Berlin Street became Barclay Avenue, and Frankfurt Street became Burgess Street. Hamburg Street nearly became Anzac Street at the time, but this suggestion was refused, and the street retained its name until October 1940 during the Second World War, when it became Cotter Street. That's all for today. Let me know in the comments if you know of any other stories about streets and places being renamed during the Great War from German to non-German names. I've linked to some more resources in the video description, including from the Doncaster Templestowe Historical Society, who've done some great work on this topic. Thanks to everyone who phoned in and texted during the show, as well as to all of my supporters who make videos like this possible. You can join them and get things like early video access and progress updates over on my supporters portal at members.philipmallis.com. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.